Okay, so the video today is about understanding array methods, like understanding array methods in JavaScript and only in JavaScript. So, stuff that we'll talk about today are filter, okay, map, reduce, sum, every. And maybe I'll move this down because it's a bit complicated. All right, understanding array methods. I'll probably upload this entire file on a GitHub just as well and include it in the description for this video. Now, there's one thing that I would really like you guys to see. It's this blog. It's not a blog, it's like a documentation portal. This is the best guide that you can find on for JavaScript if you really want to understand what goes behind stuff. And they've got like about HTML, CSS, JavaScript, graphics, HTTP, API DOMs. And yeah, I'll probably have this link in the description as well. So have a look at it. So I'll start first of all. Before I start talking about this, one thing that you need to understand is that everything in array is about everything in array is based on references. So for example, if I have my original array, I'll have like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, and I have another array which is called another array. I'll call it my original array. And then if I do another array dot 0, the first index is equal to 900. Okay. And then I do console dot log another array and console dot log my original array. They'll both print the same thing. So tutorial, sorry, array inside array, that's a separate topic. But see, uh, what I did was I had my array, I took that array, assigned it to another array, and then made changes to that new array. And what I was expecting was that only this array will be changed and this will always be as it is, the way that you see in the code right now. But that's not the case here, because everything in JavaScript that is not primitive, i.e. that are not strings, numbers, will always be passed on as references. So whether they're arrays or whether they're objects, will be passed on as references. So in order to avoid this conundrum, we have these methods. And yeah, I'll talk about that in a bit. So I'll call them discuss. I'll name this topic discussing array by reference. Okay, just to. And now we'll discuss filter method. So maybe I'll just keep this as a like this so that we always have it. All right. So what I want to get out of this thing is I only want to access my all the numbers that are even. But I don't want to like change this array. I want this my original array to stay original. I don't want it to be changed. So I'll do const even array. I'll do it my original array dot filter. Now what filter takes in are these arguments: the current item itself, the index of that particular current item, and the array itself. Now in this case, we don't need these these two things. We just need this thing. But I just wanted you guys to know that we have like three parameters, and I want to return where the current item modulus 2 is equal to 0. So every so any item that is divisible by 2 and has no remainder means that, like, 4 divided by 2 has no remainder, means it's an even number. 5 divided by 2 has a remainder, so it's not an even number. And when I do console.log even array, I should only get, see, I only got the even numbers. And I'll probably, so that you guys know this is a separate section. And then we have map. So filter is a way of filtering from your from the data set of your arrays and only getting a particular data set that you want. It doesn't change your data, it just filters it out, as the name suggests. But if you want to change your array, we have this method called map. So again, double array. So I want my array, which is this 1 to 10. I want me I want to have a method. I want to have an array that returns me the double of each number. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, something like that. For this, we have a method called map. Now, map itself takes in three items: the current item, which is the current item in the loop of this method, the index of that array, and self is the entire array itself. So at a certain point in your loop where you would need an access to the entire array itself, you can use it by this method. But because we're not using it, I won't use it here. Now what I want to do is I want to return the current item, but since it's double, I want to return whatever that number is, but just double it, like add it two times. Or I could have also done this, like multiply by 2, but console.log double array. And now, see, so just for this was my original array: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And every item on its corresponding is the double of that number. And not at any point am I going to mutate my original array, because I don't want to do that. Okay. The other topic is sum and every. So sum is like an OR operator. Now what is an OR operator? So I have a condition called condition 1. I'll call it false. Condition 2 is true. Const condition 3 is false. Now OR condition is like condition 1 or condition 2 or condition 3. If any of these conditions are, if any of these from these three conditions is true, just console.log I am an OR operator. Will it return anything? It does return everything. It won't return anything right now. So this is an OR operator. An AND operator here would be something like, so condition 1 and condition 2 and condition 3, I want all of them to be true at a certain point, or else I won't work, as the word implies. Or if condition 1 or condition 2 or condition 3, if any of these is true, return me something. And with AND, if so, this should probably, or I am an AND operator, but this should have been returned. Okay, so I saw I forgot to save my file. And now I'll just change this to true, and it should say I am an AND operator. This would have all obviously returned something. And I'll call this understanding or and ops. Okay, so we've discussed about array by references, filters, map, and we had a basic idea of OR and ANDs. Why did I discuss about this? Because we were going to talk about sum and every. So sum. Now what as these conditions did is they took a collection of conditions and basically just return true or false. That is what sum and every do. Sum is the equivalent of OR operator. So cons does it have 3? So now again, as all array methods, this includes array.sum takes in 3 arguments: the current item, index, and the entire array itself. Now at every point, I just want to see if current item is equal to 3. If at any point in my array do I have this method 3, and all this will get is it won't get an array like these methods did. They had some kind of array here. I mean, the results were some kind of array, but some will always return you a boolean. So to demonstrate this, does it have 3? Let's see. Yes, it does have 3, but does it have 31? No, it doesn't have 31. The concept is that it will go and check every item of its array, and at any point it it matches this condition, it's 3, it's going to stop, it's not going to execute further and just return you true, like an OR operator does, because it's true. But it's different with the every operator. Every operator will check each and every item of its array, and what this will do is it needs to ensure that every item in the array has a certain matches your condition, whatever it is. So for this is I'm going to make a method that is just going to tell me, is this array a numbers array? Is it a numbers array? And I'll do every current item, index, self as the rest of the arrays. And what I want to see is return me if type of current item is equal to number. So I just want you to return me true or false for every current item if it's number or not. If it's not number, if it's not number, then it'll just return me false. So let's just see. Yes, it is a number. But what if I'll do something like this? My original array dot push ABC. So now at this point, I mutated my original array, which I promised I wouldn't do, but I had to demonstrate something. So my original array at this point should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then ABC. Let's see. See, the last item is a string now. So it will check every item. This is a number, this is a number, all of these are numbers. But when it will get here and it's not a number, or if at this position was a string or a function, and it's going to see, okay, this is not a number, it's going to return me false. So the thing with every is it will check every item, as the name suggests, and will just return me true or false. So sum and every will return me Boolean types. Filter method will return me a reduced array based on a certain condition, and map will return me a new array. Like all of these methods, all of them will return me a new array or booleans, but it will like do some computation on those arrays. Now reduce. Before we get ahead, maybe we should like check what array.reduce is. Reduce. Yep, this is reduce. So this is basically a method. So think of array.reduce as a collection of filter and map at the same time, and it can return you anything, what you want. So it can return you an array, an object, a string, uh, can return you whatever you want. So as a demonstration, what I'll do is I want this entire array, but I want it as a string. So maybe so I'll do const my reduce. I don't have a good name right now. And half of my life I've spent thinking of good names for variables, and I don't want to like waste your time with me thinking on a good variable name here. So my original array reduce, and what it does it takes in an accumulator. I think so. Yep, accumulator, current value, and I think the last one itself. Okay, previous value, current value, index, and self. Now again, everywhere I've mentioned this index.self, they're all optional. You don't have to like put them here. But if in your array method, if you need it somewhere here, you can use it here. For my purpose, I just need these two things: accumulator, which is the accumulated value, which I'll keep on adding to my reduce method, and the current value is the current item in my array, whatever that is. Now reduce is a bit different. What it takes is it takes in these arguments, but it accepts in initial value as well. Now I want this to be a string right now, and I'll talk about this in a bit. So return accumulator right now. So the first time this runs, this is my initial value is a string, an empty string, and the first time this loop runs, the accumulator will be a string. So the first time it returns, it will just return me an empty string. So accumulator at this point is a string. And what I'll do is I'll do accumulator plus, so a string plus, and what maybe I could talk about string literals as well at the same time. So accumulator is equal to accumulator, comma, current value, and let's see what this returns. And I'll talk about string literals in a bit as well, since I just done that. And Okay, so current value, but I want to print 0 as well. So 0 is not printed here. For some reason, current value is 0. And cumulative empty string, comma. And what if I remove this and then have plus, no, let's just leave it at that. And yeah, it just returns me all of this. And maybe what I can do is, so that you know this is a string, 1, my string, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So what I did here with this syntax is just a string concatenation for in uh, these are called string literals, and I wasn't about and I had no intention of talking about this, but since I am talking about this, string literals. Now normally you would do console.log. My name is comma or plus Adil, and you can probably pronounce my name as in a deal, a business deal. You have a deal with Adil. That is how I make people remember my name. And plus, and I like to write JavaScript. Another way that I could have written up this with all the awful plus signs is like this. So, sorry, I again forgot to save my file like this. We'll probably call this name. And inside my string here in the string literals with a dollar sign and curly braces, I can just append my variable. They're both the same things. I just like this syntax more because it's fancy and I like to write this is just how the hip kids do this in JavaScript these days. Anyways, I hope this video was at some level of some kind of informative to you. We talked about uh, array by references. We discussed filters, array.filters, array.map, array.sum, array.every, array.reduce. We talked about string literals. We also talked about how every array takes in these number of arguments, except where reduce, it's different, where it takes in 4 arguments. And yeah, I hope this was helpful to you. Have a good day. Bye. Cheers.